Whoa! I didn't see you there. Hi there. My name's K3. Today I'm joined by my good friend iPatch, or Patel, or Patty, or Rajesh, whatever.
Morning, morning.
And we're bringing
Morning,
you the
morning.
first match in the Frag4 weekend tournaments, which, if you didn't know about this tournament, you're not alone. I found out about this like yesterday when Sue asked me to catch the game. I guess it was 2 days ago, but regardless, yeah, this is news to me, but I'm very excited to be part of the announcements. Or I guess it's not news, but if you're ignorant like me, it's news. And yeah, so, our good friends in the Frag4 community and team are going to be hosting a series of weekend tournaments throughout the next month or so as planned. But this is the first one, and it is a 4-team invitational tournament. Today we are bringing you the first match between Team Dakota Bangs Dennis and Team Virtus.pro.
That is correct, K3, well said. Obviously this tournament is based on a veto system tournament, and for those of you who are not familiar with the veto system, it's essentially a map ban system where one of the teams will start picking first, and the other team will pick in accordance to that. So obviously you guys will be able to see the maps on screen. Obviously Sue's team, which is Dakota Bangs Dennis, will be picking first, and I believe they've already started picking.
Yeah, they've banned Hard Rain already.
They've banned Hard Rain. I'm confused as to why. I mean, I like Hard Rain personally, but it seems like they've opted not to choose Hard Rain, and in response, Virtus.pro have eliminated Dark Carney Remix. You know, I'm not a fan of Dark Carney Remix myself, but they are moving quick.
And no kidding, Hard Rain that's quite the upset. I had Hard Rain really high on my fantasy team for
they've already Hard Rain, Parish, and Swamp Fever eliminated by Dakota Bangs Dennis, and in response, Suicide Blitz, Dead Before Dawn, and Dark Carney also gone by Virtus.pro. So I think on my screen we've got Pacifice, Hard Rain, Downpour, and Dead Center left. Dead Center just being eliminated, leaving the last two maps: Hard Rain, Downpour, or Pacifice. What are you thinking, K3? Real quick.
I'm thinking Downpour. I'm thinking Downpour.
Ooh, Downpour.
Okay, the logic is Dakota Bangs Dennis. They banned Hard Rain, and so Virtus.pro is like, oh, well, if they don't like Hard Rain, then they must not like Hard Rain Downpour.
Interesting.
So we're gonna say this map just out of, that's like, I'm just trying to establish a metagame for this really early, kind of unestablished competitive strategy for map banning in Left 4 Dead 2.
Let's see which map we go live with. Both maps have a lot of bonus actually, but this will be a one match or one server match tonight between the two teams on EU server. That's been confirmed. I'm just waiting, or we are all just waiting for that last map to be confirmed. But yeah, it will be an interesting match. You got two very confident teams going up head and head in the first match for the Frag4 weekend tourneys. Now, to my understanding, this is an invitational tournament. A lot of teams are showing interest in it, and based off of that, the tournament admins and moderators will be registering or signing up teams for the weekend tourney. I think they're doing 4 teams per weekend tourney, and to my understanding and just logically, I think it's just going to be region based. They don't want to mix a region like Oz and EU, for example. They're going to keep it time relative. And just as I say that, Hard Rain Downpour is taking off the lift, K3.
Ooh,
Pacifice it is.
But you know what, actually, I see the logic here, because I think that you look at a team like Dakota Bangs Dennis, and like they are the #1 seed in this weekend tournament, and they are the favorite here. So if your team Virtus.pro and you're trying to make an upset, I think Pacifice is actually a great choice for trying to put off a bit of an upset, because with such high scoring maps, for example, map 3 where you're playing Sacrifice 1, it's not a very, very long map. It's not extremely difficult, and if you're looking for like a swing map, you can really pull it off on Pacifice, because you've got lots of different opportunities to get really big scores. And so all you need is one big map, and then you can pull off an upset.
I've seen, I mean, Pacifice is one of the maps I think used, well, it's been used in a lot of tournaments, and I've seen big scores get pulled off in Pacifice. I think my team, ourselves, we got, you know, got given the game against us by Frag4 in our first ever tournament together, and they nearly 6K'd us, or they just 6K'd us on Pacifice. So it is a big map, a lot of bonus. You know, map distance is a bit funny for the bonus you get, but you've got some big maps there, especially map 2. Map 3 being
Yeah.
the big ones, I suppose, there's a lot of bonus, but you know, it'll be
Lots and
interesting to
lots of
see
hittables.
a lot of hittables. So I think they're loading into the server now. I'm just gonna get myself in there. I think Sue's in EU2. But yes, excited to see both these teams battle it off for this. I suppose, what is this? A semi-final match, quarter-final match. I suppose with the veto system, that's already essentially you'll be playing your first match and then going into the next match. I think the next match between, what was it, Impossibrew and 44 biceps is not too long after this match. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah,
I
it
think
is
it's
going
only
to
a
be
couple
taking
hours.
place 3 hours from essentially now. So once this game ends, it will be probably right on the deck. You'll probably just be able to grab a beer and I'll be right back and we'll be playing.
Awesome. All right, now both teams are essentially loading into the server. We're waiting for one more. Oh, actually, I think they're all in server. Where are you hiding, Vanille? Pacify is going to be an interesting game. Now, the first tank is at 55%, which is
Ooh, that's a
a
hairy
tricky
spawn.
one.
That's
Tricky. Is
like
that
because you
bus?
want to run that back. Yeah, it's around there because you want to run that back to the safe room for sure. But there's so many ways for the SI to cut you off. There's alarm cars that if you get a boomer on those and you pop that, then you set off the alarm, and then the tank's just gonna fucking roll in and destroy you.
A
And
lot's going to be
then
happening.
yeah, it's pretty hairy. I would just like to also note that Team Dakota Bangs Dennis, you will be hearing from our lawyers down at the IVP office for taking some copyright claim of our name. But
Alright.
you could, if you win the tournament, then perhaps we could come to a negotiation. But I do not believe that us down at the office were informed of this. So
Glad to know we're already kicking off the tournament with a few legal issues, but
yeah, yeah.
shout out from Dina to my bang bro Dakota, who is playing in the roster for, you know, Sue's team, usually with the core four of Peanut, Sue, Dina. Usually Sir is on that list. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they've picked up Discreet right off the back of the heavy loss from Quarantine Cup 2020. So shout out to my brother Discreet for making the team after you know, anchoring the team. It would be great to see.
Yeah, got some big shoes to fill, trying to simultaneously fill the shoes of the likes of Hydro, Sheep, Presto, Sir, all these big names that have played. Well, big names, well, you know, like moderately sized names. But
Big boys.
big boys for sure. Big smokes.
Okay, waiting for, who is it? Venom. No, we're waiting for one person from Virtus.pro and we can go live.
Yes, we can go live, but will they is the ultimate question.
Pings look quite okay at the moment, I suppose. Peanut and Discreet being the ones who are rolling on the medium orange ping, 110-ish between the two. Obviously being EU, I think that was the best server both teams could agree to. And I don't think there is another server that'll host both teams on a more equal ping. EU
Yeah,
is
I think
probably the best way to go.
this is about as good as it's gonna get. I'm pretty sure. I mean, like, I think it's an invitational tournament with just your European-based teams, so that they could only, you know, only have to play on like one EU server for
Indeed.
each match, and it makes a lot of
Alright.
sense. Doesn't keep
Both
us waiting
teams
around for 3 hours.
Both teams are readying up, so have we transitioned onto the map screen, Vanille? Yes. Okay, waiting for a ready up from Freyotic and Peanut. before we go live, already a word of confidence from members in the stream channel backing Discreet on this map. So it's going to be good to see the homeboy hopefully pop off in this one game decider for this team. So Planet, the last one already up. First hit.
Yeah, Discreet
Charger.
with the highest
Yeah.
ping in the whole game right now, and Discreet and Peanut trying to hold it down for the NA boys here in this tournament, trying to show that we can show up in the tournaments. Us North American boyos, we can make some waves.
Represent.
Represent. I mean, they're all American, which is like okay. It would be nice to have some Canadian representations. I will be having some words with the diversity sector
Was that a Matt?
of the Frag4 tournaments. But regardless, we are going live here, and
They
this
are
first hit of
live.
a Charger Smoker Jockey Spitter with some big damage potential. I'm going to be interested to see how they take it. Oh, Hunter, actually, sorry, I don't have my overlay on it, but we do have the Charger roll in here. Gonna go in and get a miss here, but we do have a 2-cap landing. That is going to be a Hunter and a Jockey landing for actually a ton of damage.
Dina.
What the heck? Like
Damage onto Dina.
Yeah,
Rolling.
the high bounce landed from the jockey onto Dina, and I was not expecting him to spit on top of the jockey because the Hunter did land, but they got the Charger fist on top of there, and it just kind of really wrecked house. So that's fantastic damage there.
40 HP straight off the bat, into out of the safe room. I think the spitter actually chose to spit on the jockey instead of the Hunter who'd landed, but that being said, the damage has already been done. Rolling into the next hit, we've got a 3-cap. As I clap for some random reason. 3-cap with a boomer. Charger rolling in again, and unfortunately this time it's going to be harder for the infected team as Dakota's bangs Dennis move into the bar room quickly. Unfortunately, the smoker does get some damage onto Dina, dropping his health on a flat 50 HP in 2 hits. So this is some good work by Virtus.pro on the first 2 hits, leading into the tank. Some good pre-tank damage. Onto I don't want to keep saying Dakota bangs Dennis, but I want to call him Team Dakota.
You just DVD.
Yeah, DVD. Let's call him DVD.
Which no longer stands for DVD, but now stands for Dakota bangs Dennis. We do have actually another hit rolling here. Treasure is going to miss and get absolutely railed by the Uzis of Team DVD, and we do have a single boom landing, but Dina did go slow, who will be slow for the rest of this tank fight until he pops his pills. They managed to kill that boomer without popping the alarm card, but now they are in one of the worst spots in.
I don't like this spot, K3. I don't like it.
But tell what is their other options? What else would you like to see?
They don't have another option at all.
Yes.
The fact that the tank can bring in two to three cars, in fact, is an absolute scary
rocket spawns
thought.
right on top of them. This is I think one of the most brutal tank spawn percentages in all of competitive Left 4 Dead 2 because there's really no other option than to fight it here.
There isn't. There is not. They have a 3-cap at the moment with a Charger, Smoker, and Hunter. I think the tank's either going to be committing with this or playing rock for a bit because it seems like he's rolling onto second pass real quick. And he hasn't got his back car in though. He's left that alarm car at the back. He's happy to go in with these 2 cars, which is okay. 2 cars is still good. Usually tanks opt with 3 cars, and that car is out of play.
Oh, this could be really good for Team DVD. The support hit is not very good either. He's trying to hit this car, but he's not having a lot of luck with it. Taking a lot of damage. Really great rotate by Ellis getting around. Coach is now in the corner. He needs to get out of
there. Coach with the feet. Dino out of that corner. Incredible. Hunter does land onto Nick, and the Charger lands onto Rochelle. This is going to be a kill onto Peanut. I imagine the tank is struggling to get a car onto Rochelle. Manages to do so in the process, but is this a death of Planet? It is. That is unfortunate.
That was almost like picture perfect play from Team Dakota bangs Dennis. It was looking so good. They did everything right until they just took 1 cap there, and then all of a sudden the car lands onto Peanut, and then the charge onto Sue, and then the in-cap off of that as well, and just obviously
that is unfortunate.
Just goes to show how brutal that spot is.
The fact that Dina managed to escape the hittable in the first place is already mind-boggling. But then, it was working out so well. They're sacked for a quad cap here. Coach nearly gets reset, and both I think Team DBD will be struggling on a bit of ammo, so they may be collecting ammo forwards. I think a quad cap will roll into the park area, but I'm not too sure what happened there. I think the SI kind of bamboozled Team DBD. They were doing a great job kiting the tank at first. Dina doing a great job to get out of that corner. And then unfortunately the charger landed. And I'm not too sure. I can't remember. You can jog my memory of how Planet got taken into that corner. Either he got hunted or he got
I think it
punched
got
into that
hunted,
corner.
yeah. We do have a
Also,
quad
the
cover
quad
champ
cap
coming in
rolls
here,
out.
though.
And Rochelle
they
being the
are
last
going
one.
to
Good
shut
clear
it
from
down.
Jockey. Good stuff by Sue, the captain.
Yeah.
And you know what? Discreet, my boy Discreet is on, what is he on? 80 HP. He's just chilling. Look, what happened to your HP, team? He's just
Yeah.
chilling.
You know, usually, like, I would be pretty happy coming out of that tank fight without being completely wiped. But the fact that they came so close to a complete shutdown on the tank and then came out with a death and an in-cap and some more SI chip, it just hurts. It just kind of sends a bit of a sting. So what you think of what could have been?
Yes. 2-2 rolling out now as a Smoker Boomer Sacks first. Smoker dying eventually and the Spitter follows. So they are going to have I think a 3-cap charge Hunter Jockey for this hit.
Yeah, they gotta start moving.
They do have to start moving. It is quite like we've said it a few times now. It's quite unfortunate how that turned out for Team DBD, considering how they were fighting the tank first. I'm pretty sure I was paying attention to that tank HP, and it was below 3k. I think it only had as a Hunter Charger and Jockey rolling for the 3-cap. Nice keep by Dina onto Kreitzer. The Jockey does get cleared, and the Charger gets shut down too. So yeah. I think post tank, not too much damage has rolled down to Team DBD.
Yeah,
and
that
like
was
I was saying,
very important. It was a very important skeet there by Dina because they were all in perfect position to be stumbled by that Hunter, and if that
they were locked,
stumble did land, yeah, then that would have just been a very easy pick off Tricat by the rest of the SI there. So nicely done, securing that nice little 200 and change bonus there, which is not as big as you might like from this map, considering the scoring potential that you can have, but you know, they managed to get what they could have after that tank fight. So
pretty sure the tank was only on about 2.7k HP when that shitstorm unraveled. Unfortunately for Team DVD, they were doing such a great job, but I suppose they've got to make sure they try to do the same back to Team Virtus.pro, because a team can, take that tank well, which is already a challenging task in the first place. But if you take that tank well, you can look at about an 1100 to 1,000 plus points round, as Virtus.pro now haven't cleared the common at the front like Team DBD did. Now the Charger, Hunter and Jockey roll in. The Hunter lands and the Spitter again not spitting on the Hunter properly. Spat on the side, won't get a lot of damage onto the Hunter as it could have.
What was the charge? He just kind of danced. He didn't even.
I'm not sure.
He did not even try to punch anybody.
I'm not too sure, but that hit got shut down fairly well by Team Virtus.pro, who should be just holding the W, the go button through this through the apartments and try to take the bar room as Team DBD did. However, they are slowing down a little to take the bait on this essentially the same hit.
What is this boomer spawn?
That boomer, so you can spawn behind the grill. The barred window and actually land a nice curve boom. So it actually wasn't a bad idea. But that being said, a bit of damage rolls onto Kreitzer, but they'll be happy with the progress so far. Not too much damage with the enemies on 0 point still. So good progress so far.
Is this dumpster hittable in the middle of the alleyway? Like where they're going by right now, is that dumpster hittable?
I can't remember,
because
to be honest.
If they shut down a hit, they might try to. I could imagine them trying to bait the tank into some bad commit to cut them off, and then just hold S back toward
charge.
Finally, it's gonna be harder. Yeah. Ooh, that's a sizable amount of damage out onto Coach there. So. But I'll be interested. They are in pretty good shape fighting the tank, though. So I'll be interested to see if they might want to take a hit here and then try to bait the tank into some
kind of the boomer. The boomer hops in and lands a triple boom. Good boom by Dina. The tank is looking to roll in, and why wouldn't he with a common rolling in onto Virtus.pro before they get a chance to set up? Tank is in the hands of the Captain Sue, who's rolling in and gets his car onto Venom. What a great car! Misses a long arm, but misses a second arm. Sue needs to find some composure. Make sure he doesn't whiff. Nice punch onto Nick. That should be a car. Well done. A punch onto Ellis. This is the wipe. Is it? The Hunter is still
And
alive.
it's
Sue
gotta
gets
be.
another
This
punch
has to
onto
be a win.
Ellis. Another
Yeah.
down. This is absolute work being put in by
Kind of right into
Sue.
the car.
And another car to
Man.
finish off. What a... Well, that was a quick wrap to the round for Virtus.pro. Sue doing
Jeez.
absolute work.
Yeah, I mean that boomer, I think, though, MVP, because like, you know, it's not very easy to get a really good boom here. It's easier to get like one maybe, but it's like you went in there with that triple boom. I think they actually maybe slight misplay on the survivors, because I think they were close enough to the boomer to M2 it, but somebody ended up popping it and getting a triple proxy there. And then from there, it's just like the tank's game plan is very basic. It's just hit your car in there. If you can hit one on the way, then that's fine. But all you have to do is keep them in that corner, and then it's just free multis and free car hit,
Yeah.
and then just if you get a big boom there really is not much of a way for the tank to mess up that wipe. So very
be
nicely
honest,
done by the SI.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't think Team Virtus.pro were keeping a track of the spawns that went in. I think after that spit charge, they were a little, I don't know, bamboozled to say. They had lost track of one more SI being alive, or that hadn't been sent in, and that being the boomer. Sometimes, or actually playing in a tournament, if you're not keeping a track of spawns just before the tank, things like that can happen. So maybe something to take away, I think, for Team Virtus.pro going into the remainder of the maps, to make sure that they are completely aware of the sack order and the spawns going into the tank fight. So Dina landing an amazing Sue's water went out. Okay, interesting comments by Dina, but a good boom from Dina, who secures a wipe for Sue.
Okay, we do actually have a 20% tank here, which I
That
believe
is early.
I believe that will be fought probably. Will that spawn
In the
before they get
bar.
out of the pool room? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. That should be in the pool room. I mean, they're already at 10%.
Yeah,
Let's do the
that's
three
a
cap
tough
boom.
tank to play as if you're trying to, especially in a map like this where there's so much damage and like potential, and but also so many points potential. You really want to have the most difficult tank possible in a situation like this where you can have to come back potentially.
Well, it's tricky. If the tank spawns outside, the survivors can look to do a bit of chip, but it does come with a bit of caution as a Charger Smoker Hunter roll in. Well, I was going to say a nice charge, but that Charger by Xenix has missed. After a good 2-cap lands onto Sue and Discreet, have already lost a substantial amount of damage for a 3-cap boomer. Common locked at the back. Dina needs a bit of assistance, and Peanut provides. So this tank will be spawning in about 5%.
Yeah, so they will have to go back inside. What I will be interested to see is, do they have to drop off? Because if they have to drop off, then it makes getting back in the pool room to be exceptionally harder, and there's some weird jumps you might have to do unless you want to go through the tunnel of death.
Yeah. Boomer popped nicely by Discreet. They do have to drop off for this tank, however, because I think they only have to drop off and might be able to go forward on the platform across the other side of the sewers or canal, whatever you want to call it. I don't think they have to drop off. I mean, I may be proven wrong, but Sue's done a bit of a cheeky jump onto that platform on the left-hand side, trying to get some map distance.
No, they have to drop for
18%. I think, yeah, they do have to drop. Ooh, nice skate there by Sue, but a charge. Oh no, the charge is shuffling, but does manage to roll a substantial amount of damage onto Discreet, who will sit on about 46 HP. So a bit of damage actually onto. Oh, Sue's doing a bit of a parkour to get back, but yeah, a bit of damage that's already rolled out onto DBD, Team DBD, as the tank rolls into the hands of who is it? Frayotic.
Yeah, now the survivors have successfully managed to get back into the pool room, which is very big. Those jumps to get back over there are not completely basic, so nicely done by them to just parkour their way back inside. Because I've seen so many teams wipe just trying to get back here. Now they're in a really fantastic position. There's no way for the tank to get over there without taking a lot of chip. And then even once he's inside there's just so many pool tables and stuff for the survivors to jump over. Only a couple ways for the SI to get in that are pretty easy to shut down for the survivors, and it's just it's all in Team DBD's playing field right now.
Now that Boomer gets a nice single boom, a double boom,
boom
done by Xenix as the tank finds this an opportune time to roll in. Doesn't get the ladder punch, but misses the first punch. Lands the second punch onto Planet. This should be an in cap onto Planet. The Hunter, I think, goes
Ooh, early.
a
I think on
little
the
early. I
death of
feel like he had the
SI.
corner anyway. But Su finds himself in a corner, dodges that punch very well. This should be a dead tank with 500 HP left. Smoker is alive. Su should finish off the tank. The jockey does chase Su, which is bunted, and I assume should be killed in the process. Su's trying to make himself come back to the team. Other survivors are aware of his separation, and Smoker should be cleared by Ellis in the process. Now that was I suppose the tank could have done a little more damage if the Hunter waited a little more, but the problem was I think the tank was already at about 15 to 1700 HP before he managed to get a bit of cornering onto Peanut there. So it was a good amount of damage spread between Team DBD, all on
Yeah.
roughly about 50 to 25% split. So that
Yeah,
was a good
beyond
tank fight.
that, just a Hunter's and Smoker is just not the support that you really wanted there. You wanted like a jockey
I was
charger or
going
something
to,
like
yeah,
that.
I was going to make a comment on that. I'm not too sure Hunter, Smoker, Boomer is the sack order you'd want for, or not the sack order, the infected set of spawns you'd want for that tank, really.
But what you do want for this area is a jockey charger high spitter. This is definitely very, very big damage potential, and I would be very not surprised at all to see them just like send this hit in right in a couple seconds here. I don't even think they need to wait for the cross. I think they could just honestly just drop on their heads at any second and then just...
Yeah, they've got a spit charge. I'd be putting that spit charge at the front for the first survivor that hops onto the other side, because you can absolutely body that survivor, but it
They gotta go
seems
now.
like they are holding. Oh, what a skeet by Planet. Two-shot skeet. Two-shot skeet by Planet. And a bit of spit damage onto Planet, but you know what? That's a free cross, and they lost about 130 bonus off of that hit, but I'd take that because that reset could be deadly. So granted that they play out the remainder of the map, you know, with a most minimal amount of damage, they can be looking to hold a good amount of bonus going into the safe room Team DBD, as the next hit rolls as a 3-cap Boomer with a Hunter, Smoker, and Jockey, which I don't imagine should do an excess amount of damage. Granted that the area they're going in is nice and tight, small quarters.
Yeah, I think they just want to focus on stack order to get something really good for the drop at this point.
Yeah, I think I'd personally want a quad for that drop, but I don't think they've got that.
There's not really anyway, unless they just sack the Boomer and maybe try for something there. But I was trying to look for something here. Is having a lot of trouble connecting into the doorway.
A lot of trouble. This Hunter is trying to get through, and Su taking a couple shots to try and skate it. Eventually gets bunted by Planet, but I don't think that, yeah, that hit. Oh, it nearly took off about 80 bonus, surprisingly. Ellis discreet popping pills, but they should be able to hold the go-go here and take that drop if they're fast enough, a couple seconds off the spawns. But Planet falling a little behind as they get a 2-2 for the drop hit, which I'm not too sure is ideal.
No, it's definitely not ideal, but you do have that charged spit, and maybe a smoke off of one of these pillars out into the open could do something. And they are going to try for a sneaky Boomer, but no luck there with an extra gun by Su. And now I believe that they should just be clearing out a bit of board, and they'll be able to take this drop with only 3 SI, and they are going to do that. There's going to be a pull going up, but very, very good clear there. Charger's getting absolutely railed by no chance.
Well.
And yeah, that's how you
clearing.
That's how you do first position play. Is you send your one lead shotgun player down, and then you have the 3 Uzi players or your 3 back players in the hind positions, just ready to just get those players on when you need to.
Not only does the shotgun player need to drop, or it doesn't have to be the shotgun player, but it could be any player that needs to drop, but he needs to be in line of sight of the rest of his team, which is what Su did exactly, making sure he was able to get cleared by that smoker for that hit. So, and he also dodged the charge in the process. So that was actually good movement, I suppose, and a good awareness from that for that play, as they sacked the Boomer, and I'm pretty sure they're going for a quad sack now. Spitter being the last, I think, SI to die in the previous hit, as they have a charger, Jockey, Hunter, and Smoker for the quad. All positioned pretty well on top of the platform, starting up the second gate. This could be if they take this quad, they could be looking at 600 bonus going into the map. You know, they're gonna have a 2-2 for the next hit, which isn't also ideal for this as jockeys falling to make some noise. What do you think? Do you think they're gonna try hit on the platform or wait for the drop?
They're gonna have to, because the survivors are not going to drop into. They know the stack order. They know that they have a quad cap, and everything is spawned up and taking a ton of chip. This smoker is gonna get shut down.
Oh, Kreiter peeked out.
Ooh, yeah,
Not ideal.
they did have to attack on the platform, which is really not a good spot to have to attack. But I think that they did get a little preemptive with their spawn there, and they weren't all on the same page, and now the survivors are able to start moving forward despite their bleed out.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I saw. I'm not sure if you saw on stream, but that charger was trying to find a spawn at the very end of that platform. You can sometimes spawn right in front of the faces of the survivors. It's a bit of a bug, but unfortunately, they're not going to have. They've only got one hit now at the safe room instead of having 2 potential hits. You know, Team DBD are holding 619 bonus, and if they take this hit well, this would be a 2K total map for them as a charger gets shot. Oh, the charger got shot twice, actually, but they're all actually just grouped up on the front. This could be a bit risky. Good take, sorry, good shutdown by Dina, who actually takes that spitter out. That was a good take.
Yeah, the jockey got baited perfectly, and then the charger just got absolutely railed, and the hunter got kind of skated out of the air as well. And then yeah, there's just not a lot for the SI to do there.
Nothing's happened. I'm telling you right now, since the gates open, nothing's happened. K3, you know, they sacked. Well, even from the drop, nothing happened from the drop. Really, did it?
Yeah,
even if I go first,
that's a really
the tank,
good
nothing
bonus.
happened. You know,
Yeah,
I think they had about.
This is not the biggest bonus I've ever seen on this map, but it's pretty decent. Like I'm not going to be complaining about that bonus. Now,
yeah,
in order to equalize, they basically need to do a perfect map. So I think at this point, Team Virtus.pro are kind of probably have to abandon the hope of like making a full-on comeback and just keeping pace with them and saying, okay, you know, we'll still, if we match their score, we'll still only be about 400 points behind, and then we can mount up an easy comeback on the 2 next maps of Sacrifice. So I think that's what they're going to put their sets on. They have to make they do have to make some bonus on this map for sure, because there's just too many points up for grabs, and already if they get wiped at this tank, then they're going to be staring down about an 1,800 point deficit, which is really, really, really rough.
It is rough. You know, I don't think. Ooh, the boomer is set and gets a nice arc boom. Does the discreet nice skate by Xenix onto planet. This is a bit of damage now, rolling onto 1 pound, 2 pound, 3 pound. I'm just gonna count it out. 4 pound to Xenix, whose health is already 30 HP before this tank even spawns. So that was actually good SI coordination to some extent by Team DBD.
That charger had no health too. All they needed was just get up there and shoot up one time, but there was just too much horde just funneling down those stairs, and they just could not walk up.
I think that
sometimes just holding W is the biggest difficulty.
What did they have? A 2-2 for the next hit. Not too sure if they're going to be able to.
I think they're gonna save. They're saving the spitter to spit block the run back, and they're gonna save this whole hit so that they can't run back onto, or maybe they won't. Maybe they actually are just gonna send this hit in here. Jockey is trying to roll in. Hunter getting really nicely created by Xenix, and then that Hunter is also, or the jockey is also gonna get shut down. Spitter looking for some kind of block, and the boomer is not gonna find anything. So nicely taken
down this time.
Yeah, I would have liked to see the SI hit maybe save there and make the return a bit difficult, because they decided to actually go. Now they can just walk right through the
little pipe, right?
The drainage pipe, which is a much easier way to do it.
Yeah,
they could have, if they saved that spitter and boomer, I think that they could have made that cross a lot more difficult.
100%, I completely agree. I think seen it in scrims and possibly a match where if you spit in that pipe, you're looking at all sorts of trouble, especially with the boomer and jockey hunter they had. So tank is in the hands of Dina. Let's do a quick roster rundown now that I remember we haven't done one yet, although we've spoken about the players. So if you know, do a bit of an intro into a roster rundown for Team DBD.
Yeah, so we have Sue, Discreet, Peanuts, and Dina,
I'll
who
do a
is
quick
our
one
current tank.
center.
As soon as this tank is dying, because he's taking a lot of damage here. This tank is
Oh
getting completely
no,
railed. He's
SI.
almost dead. SI has to go in now. The charger gets shut down. 2-cap landing though. Hunter getting a bit of something. That's a really nice jockey by Sue out onto Rochelle. The tank does finally find its
If he
first
gets a
in-cap.
corner onto, this could be big.
This could be
This could be
big.
big if he gets a down onto Coach here, because he's got a bit of health and has
They're
enough
going
to
back
get
through
a
the
down
tunnel
and get
again.
out. Oh no, what is Team Virtus.pro doing? You can take the jump, but surprisingly for the health that Dina had remaining, he's done a good amount of damage.
Tank just
Again,
got
not...
out with 100 health as
Oh
well.
no.
That jockey by Sue just really set up this whole situation. I mean, like the tank got 1 in-cap, but if that jockey didn't land, then this is a 1 in-cap tank, and then this is done for.
Oh, Rock! Good
Rock.
curve by Dina. I mean, look what he's curving through. He's curving through the smallest of gaps between the windows, so that's a good job. A punch nearly landing onto Xenix at the end, but that was looking scary. I think I was concerned for the SIs for if Dina was going to receive any, but they went just on time as he managed to get an initial corner onto Venom. And
They are they are out of pills. Team Virtus.pro, who by the way
no.
is Venom, Crutcher, Chaotic, and Xenix. They are now already sitting at a lower bonus than Team DBD walked into the safe room with, and they have no more pills and are completely bleeding out for the whole rest of this extremely long map. So this is
amount of
very
damage.
grim.
Shout out to my boy Discreet rocking that 2 infected damage. As the remainder of the team has absolutely bodied VP at this point of time. What are they rolling? They've got 550 bonus, which is already 100 shy of what
that's
Team
a big jockey
Dakota
again.
Banks. But that is a huge jockey, I agree, with a good spit block. Unfortunately doesn't get the right hand side. Oh, it does get the right hand side window, but that hit itself is gonna, what do they have, a 2-2 there, and he drops another 100 bonus off? No, 200 bonus off.
This is just, I think, there's been some slightly fault. Oh, Rochelle fell down. She missed some kind of jump.
No,
She reset herself.
Krycha.
Oh, no.
Krycha resets himself, and this will give
okay, he makes the jump
the
the second
team.
Looks like the
This should be a good spit charge opportunity. Sorry. Yes, spit charge opportunity as the teams roll into the bar area. They have to make it with some bonus, or else they're looking at a 1,000 point deficit, which isn't ideal. Which isn't. I mean, you can still catch up on the first map to sacrifice, but with the infected coordination of Team DBD at the moment, it's a scary thought trying to play catch up on the last maps of this map. As a charger unfortunately misses the smoker, not cleared, and both survivors focusing as Nick just happily takes the death through spit. I think Nick just ran through the spit to clear that smoker. I'm not too sure if that was worth the investment of his life.
You got to admire the teammate spirit, though. You'll do anything for your teammates, no matter how many points you're down, and you're desperate for distance points.
Sometimes you body on the line, literally.
Exactly. Yeah, I think this map, there's just been some faulty positioning by the survivors. There's been a couple of times where I've noticed that they've been looking to block spawns, and they might block 1 or 2, but they would separate themselves in the process, and then there's one spawn that they didn't completely block. Like when Kush was on top of that staircase there, but the roof spawn was not blocked. And so the jockey just rolled in right on top of him and got a separation jockey. And just those types of little tiny faults in positioning and lapse in tension when the hit is coming in has just done big damage to them. And this is going to definitely be a wipe.
LS unfortunately not able to get out of the way of that. Charger takes an in-cap. The jockey unable to get cleared at the moment. There should be an in-cap onto Krycha as well, with Coach left on 1 HP. So I'm not too sure if this... the jockey should go for that scratch. I'm not too sure why it's taking so long. Bit of a misplay there by Peanut, but I think, yeah, Team Virtus.pro definitely seem a little flustered. I also would not have shot out those, I would not have shot out that timber because the SI actually can't break that. So now they give an opportunity for the SI to spawn back there. Coach is doing a bit of spawn blocking, but they just need to regather themselves here, Virtus.pro, because they seem a little flustered. Post tank, they've taken a bit of damage, understandably, but they gotta make sure. I mean, they're not gonna. I don't see them making distance at this point, nor do they have any bonus to hold on to. Zero bonus. Krycha goes black and white.
Sue can just walk in there, get a scratch on coach, and just wipe right now. He's gonna
Indeed.
go for it.
And
He
gets a
does
scratch.
exactly.
Oh, he gets. You know, you read that like a textbook. You scratch
Yeah.
and wipe. Read pretty well there. That differential only grows for Team Virtus.pro. What is that now? 1,500 points now.
Yeah, that's about a 1,500 point deficit, which is,
Alarming.
okay. This is definitely like if you're playing a Ceta Pug, this is in like go next. Mao and I'm getting a sub territory. But if in a
Log.
I have seen this kind of comeback happen in matches before, especially like the next two maps are like they're both worth 700 points, I think.
There's still big
So
maps to come.
yeah, so I mean, and I believe, do you know if Finale is played in the Frag4 tournaments?
As far as I'm aware, I mean, let me ask a question actually.
I believe my guess is that it's probably optional.
I'd assume so. I think it'd be a safe bet. Let's see what. Okay, thanks, Discreet. Always a pleasure, Discreet.
Good talk, Discreet.
Oh, good talk. I gotta always appreciate Discreet's comments.
Us former Xbox players are not known for our canter.
Okay.
We're not known
Big
for
boy.
being the most graceful of conversationalists.
It's all right. Let's go for a safe bet that they are looking to play Finale at this point in time.
Assuming the score differential is great or less than or equal to 1,000 or something like that, because this Finale does have 3 tanks and a horde, and there's no like completely overpowered spot to fight either tank or a horde. There's pretty much guaranteed damage they can get in just about every single location. So I've never seen a team decide to play this Finale when they've been losing by more than 1,000 points, because it's just so hard to
The
make.
Finale is it is rough.
Even if you have 4 survivors at the end, you have to kill one of them, and you can only get a 3 times multiplier at the end. So that's just a quarter of your bonus just gone right there, guaranteed.
Kreiter with the tank this time. I think we've seen a Xenix and a Venom tank. Correct me if I'm wrong so far for Team Virtus.pro as the 2-2 hit rolls out. The Hunter unable to be skeeted, but not sure if that really matters because that's been a miss anyway. And we've got on Team Survivors for Team DBD, we've got a Discreet and Planet tank yet to come.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if they're gonna try to start sacking for some bigger.
The right sack orders, right?
Exactly,
Oh
yeah,
no! Who was that? Who is it? Let me just have a quick look. Who was Nick?
Oh no!
Let me call out this player.
Well,
For the
now
Dina.
they watch them. They're gonna find a deagle, and it's gonna come in clutch for them during the tank. One person's gonna get in cap with the deagle, and then they're going to hit the Messiah with.
Someone shot the barrel. Not sure if that was a right play there. And I'm hoping it was Discreet so I can give him some brotherly love.
Oh, this jockey's going in a little
Quad
early.
cap going in. The charger misses. Unfortunately, a bit of a tricky angle for that charger to land there, but a bit of damage does roll out onto Team DBD. So now moving into just below 80 HP.
And not quite the coordination I would have liked to see on that quad cab attempt. The jockey went in a little bit early and was
felt rushed. Am I right?
Before everything else. Yeah, definitely. I think that they could have waited. I think it would have been better for them to even wait a little bit longer for them to get closer to that depth charge, so that maybe their mind is on, oh, do not get jockeyed in depth charge, and then mind is not on, oh, don't get quad capped.
Agreed. Now I think, what are they looking for, another quad cap here, because they've just sacked that boomer, does not land, but it looks like they're just going to go for a hit here. They do need damage.
Up soon.
Oh, that Hunter tries to land, does land, but you know what, the spitter doesn't land again. I think these pre-spits are really causing, they're reducing the amount of damage that they actually can be rolling out. I'm not too sure why they're trying to pre-spit. They can just be a little more patient and try to land a, guarantee some spit damage, but that's twice now in 3 or 4 hits that we've seen the spitter not doing as much damage as it should have. Looks like they have a jockey charger and what is that, a smoker for this tank. as Kreischer rolls onto that tank. That charger loses about a quarter of its cells
Oh.
now.
Yeah, they're gonna have to. Yeah, they're
Pulse
gonna have to
rolls out.
recollect. This maybe a tactical timeout here by Team Virtus.pro. Yeah, they need to kind of recollect. There's not been a lot of wind in the sails of Team Virtus.pro. I guess his mom. We have
He's
Ben's
yelling
mom
at him.
yelling at him. Why did you miss that charger? My son would never miss a charger like that.
I'm sure that's exactly what his mum sounds like. So thanks for that impersonation. But, Team Virtus.pro really need a wipe here if they want to make any comeback to this match. It is a hard tank though to wipe with. You know, it's been done before, obviously, but it's heavily reliant on SI support. You need a bit of a 3-cap or an early hittable or an early down by the infected team to make it happen.
Yeah, poor Venom's mom paid for lessons twice a week for SI coordination, and you know they're just not coming through
Not
with it
in
at the
fruition
moment.
at the moment.
Yeah, but I mean it's still like they still have an opportunity here with this tank if they are able to get the cross out with the tank climbing out without taking too much chip, which will be difficult with this charger pre-spawned. But if they do manage to get some really solid damage, or ideally a wipe with this tank, which is pretty necessary considering the bonus that they have right now, one in-cap is not sufficient for this tank because after they get out of this tank
Indeed.
fight, they're looking at what, maybe 4 more hits.
Roughly, yeah. So you got 1 hit after, and then 1 hit before you enter the next warehouse, and maybe 2 hits. So yeah, 4 hits is a good estimate. And this is a 1500 bonus map, so they, you know, of which the survivors are currently holding 1385. So if nothing happens with this tank, it's a scary position to be in.
Yes, I often will do some complicated addition and subtraction to calculate differences when it's close. But if the survivors were to make it into the safe room with this bonus,
no
I would
need.
not. I would not bother. I would just say that is.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's too much.
Thanks for coming. So they're rolling a 1 shotgun, 3 SMG. Ooh, as a smoker does land, but you know what? A bit of chip onto that tank, about 500, which is okay. I'm not too upset if I've taken about 500 chip with that tank because sometimes and also they're lucky that they've got SMGs. If they had, oh well, actually,
Shoot the shit out of that thing.
Nick has an Uzi, or so does Ellis actually. I thought a little more damage could have rolled out. I thought they were actually holding SMGs, but they've actually got Uzis as that tank does look to get his car into position at an early stage. Well, he's already 40% second pass. Is this a commit from Kreischer? And yes, it is. The helicopter rolling out, nearly getting Ellis at the back there. Jumps out from team
Oh, that's a good jockey.
TBD. That is a good jockey. That double punch is going to clear the jockey. However, they has to punch Sue away, and we'll get another punch onto Coach. We'll get it down onto Coach rather, or Dina, who gets punched onto the boat. Luckily, unfortunate for Kreischer's tank, who's been doing a bit of work here, but this should be the end of the tank if played properly by the survivor team, who are looking to do quick work of the remainder of the tank's health. And the dead tank, that is really unfortunate.
Yeah, that was. I mean, like, all things considered, you know, like decent spread on the damage and not the worst that tank could have done, but they were really looking for a bit more. Basically, everything went right during the tank fight except for the car placement, and if the car was still out in the kind of the middle when he made that commit,
Helicopter.
it would have limited, exactly. It would have limited their movement a lot more, and then they could have capitalized a bit stronger. It was so close to being so big. And but the survivors just recollected themselves too good and kept the composure, like they are hoping to do with this hit. And the charge spit is going
charge landing for a change. That's what I like to see. And Ellis pulled not into the fire, but into a corner, taking a bit more bonus off. You know, they're rolling on a 600-point bonus, but it's not enough, I don't think, at this stage, K3. But you know, I think the only way you wipe with the 2-boom is to really capitalize on your hittable, to make sure you actually do something with it. Or else it's kind of, you know, void. You're not going to be able to get a wipe, I don't think, unless you get an early corner somehow. I like to prefer Well, I'd prefer to go in with a 3 cap, to be honest, with that tank, because at least that way, if you've got a corner, your SI are still kind of alive to manage, or to help you get that second or possible wipe in cap, or a possible wipe. So that's a good take by Team DBD as they essentially roll through for that second hit post tank, and LS manages to find pills discreet at the back, which will help him move a little faster. 570 bonus. I think 2 more hits is what we estimated till they reach the safe room.
They need to, I think, land onto Sue and Dina, because that's going to do the biggest hit into their points by taking that damage bonus down.
Yeah, 85% at the moment. The Boomer's just not able to land. That's twice now, and they're only going to set themselves up for another Boomer again, unless they're holding for. Oh well, I can't remember. Well, actually, they have a spitter, so they're going to go for a 3 cap. Unless they go in now, and that charger just got decimated.
Oh my god! But
did not see the light of day.
The hunter was not in position to even help with that. And the spitter was too far away that even if the charger
this is just becoming too easy now. These are easy pickings for Team DBD. Another hit that does nearly or next to no damage. You know, they're still on 570 bonus. They've only lost a bit after tank. They've only lost like 30 to 40 damage after tank, or maybe 50 bonus rather after tank. So this is has been a very clean run by the survivors for Team DBD. You know, Sue doing a lot of the heavy lifting, rocking at about 40% SI as the charger misses again, and the skeet rolls out by Sue. Another clean take, and they roll into they're walking in with 550 bonus nearly, which is, unless Team Virtus.pro match that, they're looking at a bit of a
even if they match this bonus,
1,500 points, isn't it?
Yeah, it's still about 1,500 point deficit. So they need to like completely outperform them on this to like lower the gap, because you cannot go into a map 4 scenario down by 1,500 points. At that point, it's just especially if you're playing only on one server, it's kind of getting close to curtains at that point. Unless you can like make maybe a 1K comeback on map 4 and bring it close enough so that okay, now we can maybe do it on finale. But they need
a big map here.
They're in a really, really tight position. They need to score at least, like, I want to say like at least 2.5K in the next 2 maps, this and sacrifice 2, in order to really put themselves back in it.
Yeah, I mean, they started off quite promising. You know, they got a kill onto I'm not too sure, I can't remember who it was now, but they killed someone on the map 1 tank. Unfortunately, well, actually would have liked to see a 3 cap roll out after the map 1 tank to really reduce the bonus and distance for Team DBD. And then on map 2, it was just a bit too much damage on that tank. But there has been potential for Team Virtus.pro to keep this a close game, or even potentially win. It just hasn't been going for them, I suppose, as much as they haven't really lost a bit of momentum after that first map, as that hunter lands onto discreet, onto Freotic, taking a bit of damage out of the safe room, but
the spitter
not in excess.
The spitter from Team DBD successfully demonstrating how to land your spit on top of a hunter.
Not to freeze fit.
Yes, this is something I think Virtus.pro should be taking a note on. Is just make, the damage you're going to get from landing a perfect freeze fit is not substantially more than just making sure they land. And we do have a
DP land here. A rush to DP. I think that was a rush squad. I don't think there was a need to rush that.
They were already set up top, so my question is, why didn't they just go onto the other roof up ahead and then just drop it on top of their heads?
Exactly. I think the better opportunity is on the other side, like what you're saying. I think there was no need to rush that. But they're going to have now a 2-2. The charger punches Rochelle twice, gets a pound or gets a slam, but no pound to follow, and that spitter trying to get some kind of a spit block. So I think at this stage, Team Dakota are just looking to put a bit of inflict a little pain on the survivors prior to this tank, which will be in the hands of Captain America, Discreet. I'd like to see him get a bit of a wipe, although that may be a rare sight on games like this. Glad to see him staying alive for most of the maps this time.
They are going to be set up for this cross. They do have actually a pretty good hit to try
This
to.
is a good hit. Hunter Jockey
Yeah.
charge is a good hit. None of them are actually landing, but you know what? He's going to take nearly the same amount of damage as their tank did. But you know,
Oh, but they're gonna get it
Ellis,
lucky
why
inside.
hasn't Ellis
There's
climbed the
doubles.
ladder? And Xenix choosing or opting not to climb that ladder to clear that jockey, I don't think was fully in the moment to
Yeah.
make that decision. That the car in a bit of an awkward spot by Discreet, but let's see if he gets baited out to throw a rock onto that boat, as most teams do nowadays, to reduce one, I suppose, hittable. Because that boat can be quite devastating. If you
Yeah.
get hit by a piece of that boat, you can lose a chunk of HP. The charger lands, no pound. The boomer also gets shut down, as well as
Yeah.
the smoker. So I'd be looking to loss at this point in time to make sure, you know, this tank has to commit with the next hit. He's already on to second pass. Well, actually, now he's on to second pass.
Yeah.
Discreet's gonna have a boomer.
More than the boat doing
Sorry, go
damage,
for it.
I'm more worried about the stumble, because
Mm,
if you get stumbled by that, then you can get just cornered super easy. And if he's got the hittable right there, you can just get stumbled
yeah.
into the car hit.
Well, it's
The street
weird.
is now moving in. He is trying to get his car into position.
Oh no, that's in the same position. The boat does do damage onto Rochelle, who doesn't do enough. But Ellis walks into the jumps again to reduce the tanks being kited. Well, Discreet need to do a bit of damage here. This Hunter gets Skeeter, the Charger Jockey go for the same person. Now this isn't going to be damage that, I mean, all I'm gonna say is it was lucky for that pre-tank damage, because if it was up to that tank, there wasn't damage that was rolled out at
Yeah.
all, really, apart from that one in-caps that was heavily supported by SI.
Indeed. Thanks to the pre-tank damage,
Discreet Pog, champ.
all of the punches managed to go out onto damage bonus, which has reduced their damage bonus off of only Fryotic to about 50%. So that is nice damage, I guess, optimization there as their bonus. It looks so much more healthy than what DVD walked into the save room with, but they're only
It's
sitting at
roughly the
about
same at this point in
it's a
time.
100-point increase, which it will definitely be
Yeah.
a little bit in the coming hits.
DBD also had the same bonus after the tank, so I'd like to see Team Virtus.pro at least match him, or even beat him on one of the 4-5 maps. Quad cap rolling in, the Donkey gets bunted, the Smoker gets cleared, the Charger lands a double, gets a pound, and the Smoker covers. So that was a bit of damage, unfortunately, onto Team Virtus.pro, which puts them now below the bonus of Team DBD, rolling below 500.
The hopes of Team Virtus.pro getting on the Cygnus scoring board is starting to decrease.
This is some great
Unfortunately, it would have been good to see an underdog team win. However, they've just been, I suppose, met with a strong force plus Discreet onto team. No, I love this, brotherly love onto Discreet. It's a good boom, landing, and a spitter. This will give them a quad cap for the final hit, I'd imagine, going into the safe room. 462 bonus at the moment, so they haven't done a bad job, I suppose. They've actually maintained a good amount of bonus post tank, losing only about 150 odd. So this has been a good round for Team Virtus.pro, I suppose, except for that pre-tank damage, which actually did probably. Oh no, as I said it, the Charger gets never mind shut down by. You know, they had a quad cap, but that got shut down fairly well by Team Virtus.pro. So apart from that pre-tank damage, K3, there hasn't been too much to talk about in terms of infected.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, this is Team Virtus.pro showing that they can hold pace with Team DVD as long as the street is the tank. And but I mean, they are okay. All jokes aside, they have shown that, like, minus a couple of positional mistakes and stuff, they can keep up the pace on their survivor side. And like, so if had this been a double elimination tournament, they would be proving that they do have the potential to come back. But as this is
definitely.
A 3-match tournament, it's looking fairly rough for them. But you know, they fought really long and hard to get to the semifinals of this tournament. They've had a long, arduous task of you know many very close games to get to the semifinals of this long-running tournament. So
Both
props to
teams have
them.
made it to the semis. Props to both teams for
Props to
getting
them.
here.
You know, put that on the group page of your of your accomplishments of your team's group, of like the Steam group page. Just put on, third, tied for
Oh,
third
damn it. I
place.
couldn't. Never mind. I was trying to hop into that team, give Discreet a bit of brotherly love. But if you're talking about maps, I think a bit of map one and the majority of it being a map two has been the game changing point in this score difference of what is that 1,600 points. So if they can manage to get a somewhat decent score, this is a 57% tank. It would have been nice to see a nice early tank, I suppose, for Team Virtus.pro to go in their favor, to make any chance of coming back. I'm not too sure if finale being played has been confirmed yet, but we could see a GG after this map if things don't go too well for Team Virtus.pro. But seeing how they played last round, it looked a little promising. It's like they never left. They brought it back, I suppose, a little too late for comfort, but proving to be a somewhat competitive opposition here, Team Virtus.pro.
Yes, certainly in the last couple of tournaments, they, regardless of their placements, they have demonstrated certainly a lot of ability to that they are improving at a strong pace. I believe actually in the Quarantine Cup, they did triumph over Team 44 Biceps, who were a pretty strong team last tournament, who is actually playing in this current tournament as well. During
Playing
this
in about an hour's time, actually.
Yeah. So they've definitely proven that they are improving at a fast pace, that they're willing to stick together as a squad and to, try to make it work for the coming tournaments. And, with the Last Stand update on its way, who knows what could be happening to competitive Left 4 Dead soon. One thing that the Europeans are definitely better than the Americans are is the Hunter ceiling pounce.
the welty pounce.
Yes.
Oh no, the Hunter is taking a bit of damage. Already lost 100 HP. Let's make that a little more bunt. The Boomer gets bunted quite nicely by the survivors. And oh my goodness, that DP nearly landed K3. That would have been devastating if Sue managed to eat that.
Man, yeah, if that had landed, then if you're that Hunter, you're like, okay, I got one for the frag vid. I've got my clip. I don't need anything else.
I made it.
I don't need anything else for this tournament. You can put that in the frag vid, and you can still say, like all clips from tournament matches. Hell yeah.
All clips from semifinals and onwards.
Yeah.
2-2 as the next hit. Should go around the entrance to that to the next building. Jockey going for a respawn.
Just gonna look for a walking off the top here. Is trying to bait out some of the fire.
Oh, quad boom and a spitter. Unfortunately, well, couldn't really spit on the jockey there, but that's got a bit of damage onto Dina and Sue, the two leading players of position 1 and position 2 of Team DBD.
Yes.
Coach did a good job. Dina did a good job to make sure he shot the jockey and not the barrels behind the jockey. That could have been an explosive amount of damage.
And a valiant sacrifice by the Hunter, knowing that every single Survivor player is a Frag4 and will try to shoot at it, so they could just send a random rocket boomer and it's definitely going to land.
Cheeky 3-cap boomer for that next set. Tank in about 10% will be in the hands of Xenix.
This
Looking
tank
for a bit more damage.
This tank is going to be way out in the open, so a lot of hittables, which means a lot could go wrong for the survivors, but it's also a very difficult spot for the tank.
That is an ambitious smoker from the alarmed car at that distance. That is looking a little better, so one punch by that charger, a few slaps, and a little bit of slow clear from the survivors onto that smoker. But Sue, that puts Sue into, what, 46 HP, so I mean, it's a good amount of damage actually. If you're looking for teams on green ping before this tank, it would have been good to see maybe a few pills popped. But somehow that tank has just only spawned, and it's what 59% map progress in the hands of Xenix. So we'll go back for these cars. Plenty of hittables to play with. Plenty of toys.
Yes. So I mean, like, all it takes is one lapse in attention span, which is very, very easy for any of these Survivor players, especially discreet. And
Ooh, that car was close.
there's a good chance that, you know, one hittable lands, and then all of a sudden it's looking like a potential wipe scenario. So
Well, he's got 3 cars and he's got 2 bins to play with. He's actually. Please tell me he's going for the bins. He's not going for the bins. He's actually going with the horde. Not. Oh, that nearly clipped Nick on the boat, who's clearing out a bit of the common. The jockey goes way too early. I'm not too sure if that was a player. The car lands onto Peanut, who got caught. Oh, nearly lands onto Coach. Dina dancing with the car. This is some good demonstration of hittables. Is this a death onto Planet? It will be a death. The tank still has 50% health. Planet finding himself dead once again. The tank. Oh no, that car's hit out of play, and he's got nothing else on this side of the map except the corner to.
He whiffed.
Oh, whiffs a punch.
He's whiffing.
Whiffs a second punch. Dina giving the tank some feet, but now will find himself. I was gonna say a corner, but unfortunately not. Good corner. I think that tank actually could have, if he didn't hit that car over that, I suppose that railing, if you'd like to call it that. That charger had landed onto, I think it was Sue, so that could have been another ring cap. A few close misses by Dina, who gave the tank the superior movement, I'd say. Some good movement, and nearly, that was some dangerous kiting, I'll give him that. You know, if the tank had actually committed with two more bins, which is around the side of the house on the right, the little shop on the right, it could have been a lot riskier.
Yeah, but regardless, Tank did his job. He got a kill, and now they're in a position where...
Had this been a close game, this would have been a very tight position DBD had found themselves in.
Yeah, and even on that last one, unfortunately, I think Team Virtus.pro didn't quite get the perfect stack order, because a quad cap on this big mound of shit would be quite something very difficult to shut down with just 3 people. We have a pull going out, trying to get
way
early,
too early. Smoker's way too early.
Even if that pull did land and did not get cut, there's nothing that any of the SI could have done with that. Now it's all up to the Hunter and the Charger to try to get something off of this, and they're gonna try. They gotta get a charge down with this horde.
I think that Charger can roll up around the side. It honestly should go from the side. Ellis has been common for so long now. And this Charger is going to charge Ellis down, and he goes down, and a jockey lands. Spitter being the last of the infected. This should be a wipe for Team Dakota. Spit block lands onto Coach at the top. This should be it. This is a great round.
Yeah, Dina, just please surf to your death. Just like go out with some honor.
Well, to be honest, if they're playing finale here, this is a good opportunity for a bit of a comeback. Jockey staring into the soul of Dina as the Charger collects a second piece. Now, if they're, like I said, if they're playing finale, 700-point maps put them on, if you make distance itself, that puts them on 2,400 points. Maybe a 600-point to 800-point round could see them above 3K. That would be a great comeback.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
they can't take damage.
Impossible. I think, yeah, no, they have to. I think they have to get up to about 3K on this map to really give them any chance. Because the finale is so difficult. Like on the rare occasions that I see teams actually making the finale at all, they make it with, you know, like measly changes bonus. And so you really have to like close the gap by a significant margin right here, or else. With this tank fight, as long as you don't eat any hittables, it's very easy to roll out without taking much damage. You just got to be good with your positioning. Use the wooden pillars as some blockades against the cars, and you know you'll be able to.
I think Vanille's got those sprays hidden.
Look, that's pretty harmless. There's nothing wrong with that.
A bit of a questionable spray.
Reloading.
Not too sure if Team DBD are going to be happy with their survivor play on that map. That score of 3,800 could have easily been 4.5 to 5k if map 1 and map 4 was played a little more efficiently for them, the survivors. Taking a bit too much tank damage, I think. Team Dakota, as that Smoker gets cleared nearly instantly. Charger misses, Hunter misses. Smoker does manage to get a damage, but that Charger does nothing really. So the good shutdown from Team Virtus.pro, who are trying to make a late comeback into this semifinals match.
Yeah, that's how you wanna. If they keep shutting down those hits just like that, make it to the tank with this kind of health, then all of a sudden we're looking at a game, and maybe the war room for Team DBD was getting a little bit comfortable, or
That's something I'd like to hear. A war room.
that would be nice. I would be like to hear Stu raging at his teammates right now. That would be fantastic.
I have received a word of advice from the admins, or one of the admins, or the leading admin of the tournament, Peter Griffin, who is, I'll say that soon, because this is a good amount of damage. Jockey, Hunter, Jockey and Spit landing onto Team Virtus.pro, setting them back a little, slowing them down, trying to reduce any momentum, Team DBD here. But yeah, word of advice that finale won't be played is the goss, the news on the vine, word on the street. They may play it, I suppose, but if it's been agreed to that they're not going to be playing finale, then slim chances here for Team Virtus.pro. Smoker lands, but out of coordination. The Spit Hunt does land, and the Charger gets a questionable. I don't know if that was meant to be a stumble or if that was meant to be a charge into the car, but let's just leave it at he tried. But yes, the admins of the tournament. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, I was just saying that the survivors are now rolling into the tank spawn, and they really have the help they need. It's maybe not as good as they might have wanted it to be, but this is definitely the help that they need in order to technically they're not mathematically out of it yet. I don't think so. Or are they?
Is this going to be a cheeky AI? I think if they see too many hittables here, they may even go for a cheeky run back all the way. They do have the health to do so, but
it's a dangerous run back though.
That is some dangerous run back. I know for a certain, if I've been seeing if it was one of the Asian teams, they love to roll the tank back. They love putting their running shoes on.
Empire's in a horrible position though. It's right in the ditch.
I'm pretty sure Peanut will be going for both these dumpsters because I think what we didn't see Team Virtus.pro do is bring these dumpsters in, and if that tank had brought dumpsters in and placed on the left-hand side, it would have been something that he could have played with when he was trying to catch Dina at the end there. So he's going to try to roll in this car and essentially commit with a nice separation set of SI. So Planet doing a good job of bringing all these hittables in. He's got 5 hittables to try do something with. Now this car is a little oh no, that is so close. But this area near the boat is easy to cut the tank around, but
oh no.
Oh, that is a car. That is a car. That doesn't land onto Xena's Planet. Unfortunately misses, but the team find themselves in a bit of a tricky position. Bin, he's going to go for... Oh, nice job. He does land it onto Xenos eventually. Don't think he's got enough health to kill him, but...
Yeah, he does.
Oh, well, he's actually got 2 cars to play with. He's got 2 cars to play with. Never mind. He's dead. So Planet returning the favor onto Xenix by killing him as well, as Planet got killed by his tank. So
that was, I'm sorry, that was just really not good positioning by the survivors.
No.
There was one car on that side, and they dropped right into straight into the arms of
4 hittables.
Straight into 4. And the thing is that you can run around this railing on the boat, and they could have dropped on the other side and just run toward where the pillars are. And then all of a sudden they only have 1 car to dodge, and they have all these obstacles to dodge with. Instead, they ran away from. They were so scared of that 1 car that they can pretty easily dodge out in the open.
Yeah,
they ran right.
Definitely a misplay.
They ran into the hit and 4 more hittables, which I think was just not the play.
Yeah. I mean, look, if they had one more survivor up at this point in time, they could have been on about 900 bonus, which would have been putting them above 3,000 points nearly, I think. So although they have about 759, they're not going to make the distance of that 4 survivor, not have that multiplier, and not have his bonus as well. So I think we're going to see Virtus.pro here just take out the Horde, which only should be 1 or 2 hits. I think is probably the best option. Oh, well, that Boomer just killed himself. So Smoker, Jockey, and Hunter.
They're gonna go for a quad cap right
Is it
here.
going to be a quad sack?
I mean, I think that's what the boomer kill was for. Otherwise, they would just be going in for a hit right now.
Find out in 2 seconds. I believe you are correct.
This is a hard spot with all the Horde rolling in to shut down quad as well.
It is a hard spot, but if they can get an early Smoker tongue clear and I skeet onto the Hunter, as it does, the Jockey land! Oh, the Jockey does land! And with that, spells the end of... Oh, that is unfortunate, but that was a 750 point closeout bonus. There's no comments from Team Virtus.pro at the moment, even though Price just asked for a finale, which is interesting.
Which is an interesting call, yeah.
I'm pretty sure they aren't playing. Well, I'm not too sure why they're playing finale. I mean, they're looking at I mean, not to be a negative Nancy, but 1,700 points down at the moment.
Yeah, if I recall correctly, I think the finale, I think it's only worth 600 points. No, it's worth 700.
700
still,
points and 1540. So
yeah.
Sue does raise a good point
and
that the second team's not going to get pills. Like,
yeah, this is like, even if they wipe with like a quad cap just outside of the safe room, they need to have a perfect map with with pipe bombs instead of pills, and then also kill 3 tanks without taking any damage. If they're dead set on playing finale, I guess, unless we can get an administrator to... Alright, they are now saying in both MM1 and MM2 that they want finale, and they are all readied up, so unless an admin wants to come in and completely annihilate their hopes, but...
Alright, I mean, it seems like they're just going to opt to play the finale, like they've got nothing against it. I think they just want to play it out for the sake of it. I think Sue is just trying to, I mean, I think it should just be a GG, I suppose. I mean, it's fun, and it's all fun to play out the finale, but the fact that it's a little bugged, it just saves some complications. GGs are being rolled out.
Yeah, and that will be the game. Logically speaking, it was already a game, even if they did choose to play finale, but that will be a final score of 3,814 for Team Dakota Bangs Dennis, and 2,197 for Team Virtus.pro. Despite their valiant efforts, have been eliminated from the...
Yeah, definitely had opportunities to actually be right neck and neck with DBD, if not even winning. With the way they started off round 1, they got a nice car, a nice kill, but they just weren't able to get that 3 cap and reduce map distance progression and bonus on map 1. Map 2 was a bit of a game-changing map, I suppose, because map 3 and map 4, I mean, obviously they got wiped on map 4, but they pretty much got wiped where Team DBD got wiped anyway. They could have made it with a substantial amount of bonus. Agreed with what you said, a big misplay on survivors when they're fighting the tank. With Virtus.pro, they kind of kited into hittables instead of running around, so a bit of a map awareness would have assisted them in that area. Map 3 was a bit of a shit show from nearly both teams, I suppose. They took a bit of damage during tank. Virtus.pro taking a little too much damage, 2 incaps, and a nice curve rock by Dina. Sorry, not map 3, that was map 2. Map 3 on the tank. I don't think I saw it was a 1 incap by Discreet, and 1 incap possibly. I don't know if it was Virtus.pro's tank, but Yeah, so essentially a 1 to 2 map decider. Map 1 and map 4 weren't really the game-changing maps, but 2 and 3 essentially could have been played a little better by Virtus.pro, but they've definitely proved that they've got potential. And yeah, we'll see how they. Suppose better luck next time.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing their progress into the future and see them continue to improve in tournaments to come. Because with the update coming out soon, L4D could be seeing a very different landscape in the coming months, which is very interesting to me. And I'm looking forward. I have no idea what's going to be in this update, really, and I have no idea if any of it's going to really even relate to competitive. But regardless, I think it'll be cool. I'm sure a bunch of players will be coming back and playing more often and stuff, which anything to revitalize the community and get more people into the competitive scene, I see as a big victory. But speaking of the continuation of the competitive scene, we have the next match of this tournament up in, I believe it's actually an hour and a half or so. We'll be live with.
I was going to ask that question. Yeah,
an hour,
45 minutes.
And then, so about in an hour and a half, we'll be going live with the map banning for the next match between 44 Biceps and Impossible, which will determine who will be facing off against Team Dakota Bangs Dennis in the grand finals of the first ever inauguration of the Frag4 weekend.
Indeed. That's going to be what, between Impossible and 44 Biceps? Should be a good match. Now, just to confirm, was that 45 minutes or an hour and a half?
It's an hour and 45 minutes before the tournament, the game starts, and probably an hour and a half before the map banning and everything will be starting.
It should be.
I thought it was at. I thought it was at 4. I got told it was 1.
I saw that too. But I think I saw Soul post in chat that the game was in an hour, like 15 minutes ago.
You're trusting the validity of Dave's timekeeping.
DB Dave, I'm not too sure. It's okay, we can confirm that real quick, but essentially it's not too long away, the next match, so stay tuned for the next match between Impossible, which is a mixture of a bit of an NA and a bit of American, a bit of I think is it Mexicanos or South America, and Team 44 Biceps, which I believe is EU based. But if tuning in, well played by Team DBD, and hopefully they perform just as good into their next match. So thanks K3 and thanks Vanille for casting and streaming respectively. See you guys in the next match.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone.